Are you excited, honey? You excited? Come here, buddy. Come here. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Good boy, my love. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Natty Up North. And if you didn't already see, today is a very special episode because I get to introduce you to my new best friend, Benny Boo. What do you think, Benny? You're on YouTube. Oh, the leaves are falling. So Benny, if you follow me on Instagram, has been in my family for close to a year now. He's actually about to celebrate his first birthday. He's a Cavapoo. He actually belongs to my parents, but I'm kind of honorary mom. I watch him a lot. I've actually been with him for the last couple weeks, and he might look cute and furry and cuddly, which he is, but I'm trying to turn him into an outdoor dog, so getting him out on a hike today. But not only is today special because YouTube, you finally get to meet Benny Boo, but as I said, I'm going to be doing some fall hiking. Now, before I forget to mention it, today's video is sponsored by Ariat, and I will let you know a little bit more about their footwear later in the video. So one of the things that I get asked most often from either friends or people like you on the internet is kind of basics for how I get into some of the things that I do in the outdoors, especially hiking, because it is very accessible, but it can also be really intimidating to a lot of people. So I love taking my friends out, up north or whatever to do some hiking. They're always asking me, like, what do I wear? What do I bring? I want to be able to experience some of those beautiful places that, I see pictures of or hear about, but I want to be able to do it confidently. So again, today's video is going to be kind of a step back, high level 101 how to. So I hope that this video will set you up if you are new to hiking or really want to take kind of your nature hikes, your nature kind of day walks to the next level. Okay. Today's a beautiful day. We are going to hit the trails, and stay tuned for a information-packed Natty Up North video. Benny boy, what do you think, hon? Are we going for a hike? Are we going for a hike? Okay, so stop number one. Just had a little water for the pupper. But the first thing that I want to talk about today is footwear. And really number one, I should say, my biggest rule of thumb with hiking or really with any outdoor adventure of any kind is to over prepare rather than under prepare. So today I'm not too far outside of a major city. I'm only hiking for a couple miles, but I still bring with me water, bring snacks, bring a means of communication, and just kind of plan ahead in that way. But other than that, the biggest thing that can ruin a day of hiking quickest is a pair of aching, sore, or blistered feet. So with a little bit of good knowledge and good preparation, you can avoid all that and set yourself up for a lot of miles of happy hiking. So first things first is all about choosing the right hiking boot. I say never ever ever wear a pair of like sneakers or tennis shoes in your hiking. They're not going to have the traction, they're not going to have the support, so get a pair of hiking boots. So the two main styles that you'll come across are a mid-cut boot like this or a low-cut hiking shoe, which is more of like a more intense tennis shoe, if you will. So going with the low-cut shoe tends to be good enough for like your average kind of nature hike. If you're just going for a couple miles, they're going to be lighter in weight, which is nice. They're just not going to have quite as much support. So if the terrain that you're on isn't super crazy, if you're not carrying a heavy pack, your low-cut shoe is going to be a good option. But I tend to go for this mid-cut style shoe, which is going to go up and over your ankle if I'm doing hikes, especially that have rougher terrain. So even today I'm not going very far, but there's lots of roots, there's mud, there's hills, there's rocks, so I like having the extra ankle support. And this definitely comes in handy too, well, if there's snow, but also if you're carrying a heavy pack. So once you get up in the neighborhood of like 20 or more pounds, it's nice to have the extra ankle support too. Once you pick the shoe, it is also really important to do yourself justice on your socks. So I always have wool hiking socks on. It's a pretty warm day. It's gonna get up to like the mid-70s, but even in the middle of the summer, I just go for a lighter weight wool sock, and in the winter, of course, a heavier weight wool sock. And that's gonna help prevent your feet from getting blisters. It's gonna regulate heat. It's gonna give a lot of extra cushion. Now, once you've chosen your gear, your work is not done. Knowing how to actually tie the shoe, it might sound basic. I know you guys all know how to tie your shoes, but knowing how to do it right is definitely going to save you from some potential blisters too. And you want to keep in mind when you're doing anything in the outdoors or with hiking, small problems become big problems once you're out on the trail. So things like a little speck of dirt between your toes or a little fold between your socks, it might not feel like much on mile 1, but after a couple miles, that's going to be the type of thing that's going to become a hot spot and then become a blister. So you want to make sure your socks are nice and clean, no folds, no dirt, and then you also want to keep in mind that your feet expand while you hike because you get warm, you sweat, and all that stuff. Benny hair. So it's always good to tie your shoes tightly, but not too tight. Well, we talk about wiggle room. Temperatures are about to start dropping off here. It's definitely going to get cooler, and one of the questions that I most often get from my friends who I'm taking hiking is, how do you stay warm? Especially, how do you keep your toes warm when you're outside all day? When it comes to staying warm in the outdoors, circulation trumps insulation. So a common mistake that people make is layering on a bunch of pairs of wool socks thinking that that's going to keep all the cold out, but really that starts to constrict the blood flow that you're getting to your toes, which is no good. You need that movement to be able to keep them warm. So I recommend in the winter, go for like one good pair of heavy wool socks, but don't layer up multiple. Give yourself a little wiggle room, and that'll help keep you warm too. Okay, yes, honey, we can keep walking. Yes, honey. So speaking of footwear, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that the video today is sponsored by Ariat, which is a maker of really high quality work boots and hiking boots, among other products too. And I started using their hiking boots. I've got a couple pairs of them really at the beginning of this year. It's pretty much all I've worn. They've been in previous videos of mine, including all of my Iceland videos, and they have done me very well this year. So the shoes that I'm wearing today are called the women's terrain boot. I actually have these in 2 different styles, these ones and then the waterproof boot. And these pairs have really been my go-to hiking shoes throughout all of this year. And I didn't even really need to break them in at all, which is nice. The first time I hiked in these shoes, I hiked for probably 4 or 5 miles and I felt good the whole time. So I mentioned earlier that there's kind of a compromise. When you do a low cut shoe, it's going to be lighter weight. The mid cut shoe with more support tends to be heavier. And these are a really nice happy medium because they do have ankle support, but they're actually really lightweight too compared to a lot of the other hiking boots that I've worn in the past. So I've been loving these. They're cute too. I love the little details. So they've been a really good pair of shoes for me. I feel comfortable in them. So if you can't tell already, I definitely recommend having a really good pair of footwear. It's gonna set you up for success on the trail. So if you're in the market, I will put a link in the description below to Ariat. So highly encourage you to check them out. All right, Benny's getting bored. We're gonna keep moving. This is like straight hills, by the way, so I am getting my workout in, but we're gonna keep heading up there. I didn't mention it before, but we have a pretty nice view coming, so stay tuned for that. Benny, you remember the view? Oh, he's excited. We are reaching a obstacle that I like to try to make Benny jump, and he usually wimps out. Let's see what happens. Parkour! Parkour! Yeah, 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 yeah! Benny, up and over! 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 All right, so before we head back down, as I said, I wanted to talk about the things to wear. Again, this is something that so commonly people on the internet and my friends ask me, and just as important as footwear is really setting yourself up with the right clothing too. You want to be comfortable, and it's gonna definitely help you have a better time out there. So the most important thing to keep in mind when we're talking about fall hiking specifically is layers. Layers are very important because we can have really big temperature swings from the morning to the evening. It can go from really chilly to hot in the afternoon like it is now to chilly again. So you want to have things that have zippers, things that you can open up, peel on, peel back off. so that you can be comfortable throughout the day. Now, when we're talking materials, it's all about synthetics and moisture wicking materials. So it can feel comfortable at home to be wearing things like cotton and denim. I see people wearing denim still all the time on the trail, but those things get really uncomfortable really fast. So again, you want moisture wicking things, you want synthetic materials, and that's going to ensure that your heat is regulated and you don't get chafing and stuff like that. So I tend to go with a kind of moisture wicking base layer and then a synthetic long sleeve. Today again turned out to be a hot day. Usually I would wear an insulating layer like a lightweight puffy coat, and then always, no matter what, because I've messed this up so many times, always bring a rain jacket, a waterproof layer to go on top too. So I always bring a backpack. Something that I should point out too, I do one that has straps, at least a strap across the chest or one across the chest and the waist too, especially if you're going to be carrying, a lot of water and snacks and stuff. It'll help distribute the weight. So those layers can go in the pack, but it's really good to have them when you're out on the trail. I've seen days that had nothing in the radar, and then all of a sudden wind picked up, rain came in, and I was left without the proper layers. So don't be like me and plan ahead. Now, in terms of bottoms, you can probably tell I most often am wearing just a athletic pair of leggings. If I'm doing a more like serious backpacking trip, especially if it's camping or overnight, I definitely want those like loose moisture wicking hiking pants, but I tend to be able to just get away with leggings, and then rain pants too. They really come in handy. Again, it can get a lot chillier than you expect, especially if the sun goes away or if the wind picks up. So I'm typically bringing like a lightweight beanie, a buff or multi-purpose headwear, something like this to go around your neck, a pair of gloves, and again, don't forget your snacks and water and whatnot. So that's a lot of words, but if you take nothing else away, remember synthetic materials and remember layers in the fall. Over prepare, do not under prepare, and you will be well set up. I'm comfortable. It's a beautiful day, and I think we've kind of seen it. What do you think, Benny Boo? Hey, Benny Boo, my sweet love. You ready to head down? Yeah, I think it's lunchtime, sweetheart. Okay, gang, I am back in the car. I feel like I'm really spacey today, especially with managing Benny, who's a handful while I was trying to educate and inform, but I hope that you found some of those tips useful. Now, I actually have an exciting update, especially for those of you that live in the upper Midwest. I actually, months and months and months ago, but we just announced it, joined the on-camera team at Due North Outdoors, which airs on Valley Sports North, Valley Sports Wisconsin, so where all kind of the sports teams play their games. It's all outdoor oriented, family friendly, just a great show that educates people on all that there is in this area and the outdoors. So I am now a co-host of that show, which I am thrilled about. So yeah, thank you again always for your support and for watching this video. And again, a big thanks to Ariat for sponsoring the video too. You guys, life is good. It's fall. A lot more good stuff on the way, so I hope that you guys are all staying safe, staying happy, having a good old time. Okie dokie, that's it. I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope that you loved Benny too. Okay, that is all. I will see you guys soon. Thanks again. That's a good boy, my love.